Daddy, why'd they build all those pyramids? Chapter 15, 2099 AD attack. It has been suggested that this pyramid and its inhabitants wish to obtain resources from this earth. As you know, sir, North Dakota has more oil reserves than any other state in the Union. Mr. President, what will your approach be? And I am proud to set foot in the wonderful state of North Dakota today. In answer to your question, he noticed a little flutter in his heartbeat and a few beads of sweat formed on his forehead. This planet is utilizing its resources in a conservative and sustaining way. If this pyramid and its personnel request the use of our resources, I will inform them we have none to spare and suggest they look elsewhere for assistance. It was the day after Labor Day 2099. It was 98 degrees Fahrenheit and very humid. The president suddenly felt lightheaded and noticed his face appeared a little pale and stepped forward. Secret Service details stationed on either side watched her closely but let her advance. She reached out her hand to shake his already outstretched hand. Mr. President, we here in Fargo and across the great state of North Dakota want to thank... Just then the president began to swoon forward, and he fell onto Anne, landing on top of her on the thick grassy ground. Mr. President, she exclaimed. Two Secret Service agents grabbed the president, and the entire entourage headed back to Air Force One. The president's vital signs were constantly monitored through his wristwatch, and Air Force One was fully equipped with a state-of-the-art emergency trauma center with a doctor in constant attendance. The president was rushed up the stairs and into the emergency trauma center, where a nurse and a physician immediately began to evaluate him. How's the scan look, nurse? Dr. Stephen Duard asked Nurse Roseanne Sandell. Looks like a new defect in the anterior wall, doctor. Fresh? Yes, very, but rhythm is sinus. Keep monitoring. Was there ever a blood pressure drop? Dr. Duard quizzed, and now also he was staring at the screen. Yes, there was a 30-point drop at 11:27. That's when he was on the podium. How long? Dr. Duard asked. Maybe 10 seconds, doctor, no more. Enough for a big one, Dr. Duard said, shaking his head. I'll talk to Walter Reed, see if they have any other suggestions. Draw up the RZL. RZL was the latest clot dissolver for use in acute myocardial infarction. It could be given intravenously, and by dissolving the clot that caused the infarction, the damage to the heart muscle could be minimized. Are the other two nurses with him? Yes, doctor. Both nurses are in attendance, Nurse Roseanne said. Good. I'll have the captain give us clearance so we can take off. Very good, doctor. The Podunk Medical Center in Dakota, or wherever this godforsaken place is, would certainly kill him if he was unstable, and we had to let them treat him here. Begging your pardon, doctor, but this center is world-class. North Dakota has unlimited funds, and their cardiac center is rated 5-star. I trained here for my 2 months myself. Roseanne's statement put a sheepish grin on Dr. Duard's face, but did not change his opinion of the Fargo Cardiac Center. Well, but the president will be better off in more familiar surroundings. Duard knew his response did not satisfy Nurse Roseanne. Yes, doctor, she said. In an upper room just above them, another evaluation was taking place. Miss Wilkin, Agent Cleveland said. You may call me Anne. How is the president? Anne asked, her hands shaking. That's confidential, miss, Agent Lanson said. I know, I'm just worried. We are all concerned, Anne. Please forward my best wishes for his complete recovery, she said, a tear tracking down her right cheek. Done. Can you please give us your whereabouts for the past week? Cleveland said, leaning forward, a stern look on his rugged face. She thought a moment, then said, I've been on the road with the president. Every city he has been in, I have been in also. Is there some problem? The tear dried, leaving a trail of salt in her otherwise perfect makeup. No problem, Cleveland said. Just routine, Lanson said. She was standing against the wall. The president's life is under constant threat, and our task is to protect him. To that end, would you please write down where you've been, what you've done, and who you've been with this last week? Okay, Anne said, reluctance in her voice. Both agents sensed this. Your background check is clean, miss, but we fully investigate any incident, no matter how minor. Our world is at stake. Cleveland pointed to the sky. We will preserve it. Their 3 bodies bobbed as they felt the plane begin to move forward. Hey, Anne exclaimed, regaining her balance. What's happening? I can't go. I gotta work. She stood, but the plane's motion sat her back down in her seat. Better buckle up, miss, Cleveland said. We'll be back in a half hour to review your whereabouts report, and Dr. Lanson will then conduct your strip search.